Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. Today's video is a mini tea of everything that's been happening on the internet recently. We have to talk about Casey Neistat's documentary about David Dobrik, Shane Dawson being more and more active on socials, promoting a new project, and also Pete Davidson putting Kanye West in his place for recent behavior, as well as Kanye embarrassing him more and more. But before we get into all of the tea, let me plug the Hot Tea Twitter account where you can keep up with any updates as well as send us stories that you would like us to cover. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when I post. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and comment down anything you want down below. Alright, let's get into it. So let's start off with Casey Neistat's documentary on David Dobrik. It's called Under the Influence. It premiered yesterday at the South by Southwest Film Festival. The documentary has been in the process of making in the past 3 years. I haven't watched it yet, but would you guys like a review after it's released or streaming? In this video, we're just going to cover some reactions, as well as a short summary of an article posted by Mashable. Casey Neistat tweeted, "For the last 3 years, I have been working on a documentary about what it means to be one of the most famous influencers in the world. I had no idea where exploring this story would take me. Today, the documentary premieres at the South by Southwest Film Festival." Attached to this tweet was a Variety article interviewing Casey, and here are some of the highlights of the interview. In response to why he made a movie about David Dobrik, he said, "In 2019, companies were lining up to work with David. His cultural relevancy was something that I'd never seen before. It was absolutely extraordinary. There was no doubt in my mind when I began filming that a lot of his content was questionable, irreverent, and crude, but still widely accepted. For better or worse, this young man was going to be the face of this YouTube platform, so it was all very compelling and interesting to me, and that was a story that I thought I could tell." Apparently, David has seen the film. Casey and David haven't spoken since the final interview. Casey said that he can't imagine David is going to be at the film festival. It's important to mention this documentary was started before the Insider article about David and the Vlog Squad allegations broke out last year. Here are a few highlights of the documentary taken from the Mashable article on it. Early in the documentary, Neistat asks Dobrik, "What do you do for a living, David?" It's 2018 and Dobrik is floppy-haired and boyish with an impish charm. "I convince people I'm having fun," Dobrik smiles playfully. "It's all part of my act." As Under the Influence digs deeper, that act begins to feel like a ploy to avoid accountability for the high-intensity, fast and loose environment he nurtured on and off camera. He seems to brush Wittick's accident off as a result of Wittick's own recklessness. "Jeff, for some reason, thought that I wasn't getting the shot," he tells Neistat, "so Jeff was like, let's do something more exciting. And I'm always down for more exciting. If someone brings up an idea of doing something cooler, I'm always down for that." And when asked if he thought the Insider article was fair, David said, "No, this article was written because this place wanted clicks." He says, while sitting in a $13 million house financed by near-death stunts, a podcast named Views, and a line of clickbait merch. He seems to see the woman's account of rape as a pesky rumor more harmful to him than to her. "I don't want to respond to it because I don't want to feed the fire of just gossip and hate and drama. I've always wanted to be a person that when you see me, you're just like laughing or smiling or you're pumped to have me around. Now I'm stained forever with something that I don't necessarily think I should be stained with." Someone made a summary post of the documentary on the H3H3 subreddit saying, "Essentially the whole documentary was narrated by Kat. She gave all of the context for what YouTube is and the impact all of these events have had. Overall, it was a very well done, non-biased documentary about everything David did in the last 3-ish years." Casey got footage of David long before the accident with Jeff happening, saying it's not fun unless someone gets hurt while they were filming a different, less dangerous stunt. Casey said in the Q&A afterwards that the entire documentary was completed before Kat's article came out, but when it did, it changed everything. Casey asked David if he felt responsible for the SA, and at first he said no, Dom's the one who did it, but when Casey pressured him, he admitted it wouldn't have happened without him. You can kind of pause to read the rest of the summary. I do see one error where it says that the SA happened in a New York City apartment, but it was actually in LA, so take everything with a grain of salt. And apparently a clip from Frenemies was also shown in the documentary. If you guys are familiar with David Dobrik's scandals last year, you would know that Frenemies brought a lot of light to some of the issues that were already out there, but they weren't as highlighted. To name a few, the SA of Seth Francois, the Durte Dom situation, and Jeff's excavator accident. The final scene is Jeff and David boxing. Jeff gets in a few jabs and David jokes, "I'm better with construction equipment." Someone asks why Ethan was not included. They included a clip of Frenemies where Trisha asked about Jeff's eye but zoomed in so only Jeff was showing. He said Ethan was a huge part of revealing a lot of things, but they chose to use Kat's reporting as the anchor for the doc because it was well researched, professional, and fact-checked. I also want to talk about Trisha Paytas' new TikTok that she posted about David Dobrik and Jason Nash. So she posted this with like the song that's like crazy and she captioned it, "Thinking about the time I ended up in a mental institution because David Dobrik showed up at the hospital where I just had my stomach pumped. So I tried to run away and they restrained me. But the whole internet canceled me because David was just trying to help, even though him and Natalie and Jason posted clips I didn't want out there a week prior." Is it just me, or is this like sounding like a freaking movie script right now? Like, this is the first time that I've heard this variation of the story, and trust me, I've heard her talking about this incident a lot. One user commented, "Bestie, that is not why you got cancelled." No, you literally drive your car into Jason's house. Didn't you try to run Jason over? And lastly, one user commented, "She could have just said, 'I told you guys,' or something, but she went and changed even more about a story that already has 57 versions." The next cup of tea is about Shane Dawson. We haven't mentioned him in a while. The last time we spoke about him was regarding his official comeback, although every tea channel has been back and forth about this so-called comeback since he's been building up his social media activity in the past year or so. But anyway, what's new with Shane Dawson, you may be wondering? Or why are we talking about him? Well, Shane's been getting really good views and reactions to him being back on social media and posting. His fans want him to post more frequently, and he seems to have been uncancelled. So Shane has been happier than ever. He's been sharing that he's working on a horror movie and that him and Ryland are back in LA, wondering what to do with their house there, thinking of selling it, etc., etc. They have been living in Colorado for the past few months, so people are wondering what he's been up to. He shared that he would like to have a podcast again, although we know that his last one got him in some trouble, so I don't know if that would be a good idea. Also, what would he be talking about in a new podcast? He's been so quiet ever since Dramageddon 3 that it would be surprising to see him actually host a podcast again. He said that he enjoyed interviewing people and that he wouldn't say offensive things anymore. It's not him. Someone asked him on Instagram, "Are you staying in LA or Colorado?" And he responds, "LA for a while for work, hoping to finally make the horror movie soon, and then back to Colorado to edit it." He shared that he wants to work on movies again, but again, not sure if there would be a lot of people watching this. Plus, if he does release a new movie, he would have to do some sort of promotion or press tour, and it's just odd to imagine him being in the spotlight and getting interviewed and all that. Shane has also been more active on his socials. He's been posting on his Instagram account and on Ryland's, and he's also been teasing a new series that he's working on. Shane shared that he's really excited to be editing again and said on his story, "I don't think I've been this excited about editing a video in like 2 years. I'm so excited for you to see it. Taking a 3 a.m. ice cream break and then getting back into it." And alright, now let's get to Pete Davidson. He clapped back at Kanye for his outrageous behavior, so if you've been living under a rock for the past month or so, Kanye, or Ye, has been acting really weird and his actions have been concerning. As Kim and Kanye have been dealing with their divorce for a while and Kim became more and more public with her new relationship to Pete Davidson, Kanye has been sharing things about Kim, trying to make it seem like she's a bad mother, and on top of that, he's bullying Kim, Pete, and anyone who's supported her, or Skeet. Alright, if you don't know much about this topic, here are a few videos that we've covered the main things in, but the saga continues. The other day, Kanye posted these clips to his social media. He says he's done with Kim. He wants nothing to do with her.
"Hey everybody, I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said I'm not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok. I didn't have a say-so on whether or not they went to see Eric Kangan. Most men do not. There's no such thing as 50-50 custody in society today. That's not even. It always leans towards the mom."
He goes on to say how he is the victim of Kim's actions, trying to keep the kids away from him, and so on. Take a look.
But right now, and I'm happy that you guys got to see just a small piece of what I dealt with. So when we had the Donda 2 release in Miami, I got a flight for all my kids to come from Calabasas to come to Miami to see the kids. Then assistant hit me and said, all the kids, they said the kids are there. When the plane took off, I got a text from Kim that said, North won't be on the plane. You see, this is the kind of stuff that's just like the Chicago birthday party. And I'm glad that y'all saw in the variety piece what I have to deal with.
It is a lot. It's quite sad seeing all of this unravel online and so publicly. Obviously, the ex-couple has profited from being together and being talked about, and even all of this drama is still publicity to them. However, it's ironic how Kanye is ranting on and on about his daughter North being on TikTok in a shared account with Kim. Meanwhile, he's out here dragging the mother of his children online in front of everybody. How does that make sense? And on top of all that, imagine how these kids are feeling. Maybe they're not aware of how bad it is because they're kids and probably their family and people around them are trying to not show them all of the public bashing, but maybe their friends at school are online and now know what's going on and they're telling them. The real victims in this whole thing are like the children. Now let's talk about Pete clapping back at Kanye and saying that he's done being quiet. Someone leaked alleged messages between Pete and Kanye and it's just a mess. Pete talks about how Kanye's actions are embarrassing for him and his kids, how Kim doesn't deserve this attitude, and that Kanye needs to calm down. Pete sent this image to Kanye where he is laying in bed. Some were speculating that he has a new tattoo on his chest that says Kim. Pete tells Kanye to meet up and talk it out one-on-one. Also suggests for him to get help. Then Kanye asks Pete to come to the Sunday service. Pete goes on to say that he's been real quiet this far and he's trying to stop other people that he's working with and in the industry from making fun of Kanye and talking about the whole situation. Pete said that he's had Kanye's back before and now as well, even though Kanye has been treating him so badly. And he said that he's going to stop being nice now. And Kanye posted this on Instagram sometime during this whole message fiasco. It's a screenshot of his messages, perhaps to Kim, saying, "When I say bring my kids somewhere, I'm not going through this no more. Why the is it up to you where my kids are if we so-called having joint custody?" And attached to that screenshot was this caption saying, "My dad won't even call Kim. I don't speak to most of my family because they've been allowing this kind of behavior. I am in no way trying to get this woman back. I've moved on with my life. I just feel culturally there's a bunch of white privileged people forcing the upbringing of a bunch of black children. I seen a bunch of celebrities speak up against me, but ain't been no other than the Candace Owens that ever said that any of this bitter baby mama behavior is wrong." In the series of clips that I showed you earlier of Kanye speaking about Kim, he also spoke about what Pete messaged him. He was like, "This dude is now bragging to me how he's sleeping next to my wife, but who's watching the kid?"
And I've been dragged and how she's not my wife, she don't have her last name, and now he texting me talking and bragging about how he's in bed with my wife, and I'm like, well, who's watching my children if he's texting me bragging about being in bed with my wife?
Whoever is responsible for Kanye's social media and PR, please take it away from him. And you know what's absolutely hilarious is that Kim Kardashian actually responded in the comments of one of Kanye's Instagram photos where he posted this picture with the caption, "This was on my daughter's backpack when I was allowed to see her last week. This is why I go so hard for my family. I am wired to protect my family at all cost. As the priest of my home, don't worry, Northie, God is still alive." And then Kim responds saying, "Please stop with this narrative. You were just here this morning picking up the kids for school." It's possible that all of this is a scheme to promote Kim and Kanye with the Kardashian-Jenners. You never know, but it is quite concerning, and hopefully all of this gets over with soon. And yeah, that's all the tea that happened in the last week or so. Hope you get caught up and are ready for the new week and new tea. Let me know what you think about all of the Kanye/Kim/Pete drama. Would you watch Shane Dawson's movie or Casey Neistat's documentary? Comment down below. And for now, I'm going to leave you guys with this clip to get all of this tea out of your head.